Slow down.
Again.
Here we go.
Again. Are you
Yeah,
kidding
every
me?
time.
It's coming. Oh, there's that drop.
Drum line. Stop down.
You got the funk. Can't stop that funk. Gotta get that funk. All right. Welcome back to the Big Screen Boys podcast. Very excited to be here today in studio. Cash, we are only about 2 months late. Nice fade out, Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy running the ones and twos. No camera on him today.
Yo.
He's the ghost over there.
I'm ugly.
But
I'm
man,
ugly.
we are about 2 months late doing this, Cash. But we
Earlier
had
than the
to-
Oscars.
I know. And you know, we did kind of, for lack of a better term, shit the bed on that one because there were some Oscar films that we talked about that we had not seen. So we had to go and watch them.
Well, Oscars
and that
haven't
we
happened
did.
yet. We will do a live stream for the Oscars.
Yes, we will. That'll
and,
be fun.
We will be prepped because we've seen
All
damn
of
near
them.
all the films.
Yeah,
now.
I've seen all of them now. So it's going to be good. But yeah, no, we're here today to give our top 10 films.
love this episode. I look forward to it year round where we talk about the year previously, 2022. And what a year it was, Mason. I struggled.
This is the hardest year since
Yeah.
the podcast for us
I think so.
to make a top 10.
2022 was a year where they were cramming all the COVID films back in, so it was a lot of
It
films
was.
we were anticipating and paid off. Some did not pay off.
Oh boy, we can get into
We'll get
those
into
at
the
the
flubs.
end of
We'll
the
get into the
podcast,
flubs, yeah.
because that's where they belong at the end.
Absolutely, but man, making this list, it came down the wire for me. And right now, I'm looking at my list and I fucking hate it.
I still
hate
have.
it.
I know.
I'm
I still have
disgusted
12.
by it. I don't.
So I'll give you a little idea, guys, of how hard this is for us. I made a top 10 list that consists of 31 films.
Yeah.
I had to narrow 31 films down to a top 10. At the time that we are alive right now, I still have 12 on my top 10, and I don't know which two to eliminate. And it's very sad.
Well,
It's
you're gonna
very
have
sad.
to hurry the hell up because
know.
we are going
We
right
are
now.
going.
We are
Okay.
live. So
Here it
we're
is,
gonna-
Cash. Your number 10.
You're-
What was it?
Oh,
for
you
this
want
year?
me to go first?
Of course. Yes.
So you get delays.
I'm
you
delayed.
Get delay.
It's like, when you order
Oh,
food
you bastard!
and you're not ready.
Oh,
but
yeah,
You say
you go,
you're ready.
Go
I'm
around
like,
this
yeah,
way,
just-
counterclockwise,
Ask them
please.
first. Yeah. And then by then, let me
End with
skim,
me. Yeah.
skim through this menu, baby.
All right, man. I'm going number 10. I know this one did not make your top 10, but and we can sprinkle in some honorable mentions throughout as well. But my number 10, a film that I know you did like, it's starting off with a horror film, and it is
Ooh.
Pearl.
Pearl. Okay. Number
yeah,
10.
Pearl was my number 10.
Now, since we are going to be talking about Pearl a little bit, you know what film I thought you were going to say?
What?
Barbarian, which made
Okay,
my
we'll
honorable
s-
mention.
Oh, it made my top 10, bro.
Oh, it did?
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at
Spoiler
that.
alert.
Spoiler,
Yeah,
yeah,
you want
whoops,
to
my
jump in?
bad, my bad,
Come
my
on,
bad.
guy. Come
Well,
on.
in all fairness, you did set me up in that capacity.
I don't know if
to
I
where,
set you up. I just told you
No,
my
you
top.
set me up,
Okay,
you
I
son
would
of
have
a
got
bitch.
that. A little
Uh,
paranoid.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe.
But yeah, Pearl, directed by Ty West, starring Mia Goth, who's been on an indie horror.
She's killing it. We saw Infinity Pool. We did not review it, but wow, that film
Yeah.
was wild. She
We
had a
didn't review
crazy
Infinity
performance.
Pool? Yeah.
No,
Oh,
because
damn,
remember we
did.
saw it, but
Yeah.
we didn't review it.
Too bad. But yeah, she's just, she is, there's very interesting look to her, an amazing acting style where once she's on screen, you're just engrossed.
Yes.
You're all eyes on her every time. And she
And
has,
you never know how crazy she's going to get.
yes. And
She
you haven't
takes it from
seen,
1 to 100.
and she was in 2 horror films in the same franchise in 1 year,
Mhm.
X and then Pearl. But yeah, if you haven't seen our review, we loved Pearl. I loved it. She has one of the best monologues at the very end there. Very scary, very long, but a great fucking take. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. If you haven't watched our review for it, go back because it has one of the funniest searches that Mason ever did.
All right, we got to tell the story.
Yeah,
It's full
got it.
transparency. We
I
gotta
want to
tell
know
it.
this story.
We got to clip it at some point.
So we do have to clip it because it was one of the biggest goofs on podcast.
Oh, it
history.
was a goof.
It was a goof, and I genuinely I did not mean to do this, but we were like, oh, what's the third film going to be called? And we said something like, oh, it's Triple X or something
It's
like
Triple
that.
X, yeah.
And so I'm like, oh yeah, let me type in Triple X movie. And I typed in Triple X movie, and of
Just
course, what do you think popped up?
dongs.
Just nothing but dongs and dongs.
Vin
and dongs.
Diesel.
Yeah, and Vin Diesel. Yeah.
No, I think you typed in Triple X film.
Oh, film,
And
something
then
like
he
that.
immediately
Yeah.
went to Images, and we
Images?
got.
I went to Images, and there were plenty of images that
There
were
were
films.
plenty of
They
them.
were Triple X films, but they were much
Some,
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
great films. We'll have to do a top 10 of those another day.
We will. We will. Yes.
We
Coming to
did
this
have to.
segment.
We did have to watch a couple when we did. I mean, just to make sure.
You know, of course, due diligence.
It's our job.
It is our job.
It's our job, and I'll be damned
something
if
we
I'm
have to
not going
do.
to do my job.
100%.
But yeah, Pearl, I loved it. If you haven't seen it, go watch X. X and Pearl, right, were very neck and neck with me. They're like two different styles of horror films, where X was like Texas Chainsaw, and then Pearl was like something completely different.
Yes.
Though it was cartoony, it was fantasy, it was very weird. But
And there were elements of like the old school traditional filmmaking of
Yeah.
like the 50s and 60s with the title card and
Oh,
whatnot
yeah.
that I really enjoyed.
loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, the next one will be it's called Maxine.
Maxine
with three
X's. That's where we got the X's from.
Yeah.
You know, whoopsie
Oh, that
daisy.
was so funny. But
Yes, it
all
was.
right, what is your
Okay, now
Number 10.
Okay, this is my number 10, and I'm really excited to
Why don't
bring
you-
this one up
why don't you tell me the two you left off there?
that I just left off.
There were 12
Okay,
and 13.
so 11 and 12. One of them was To Leslie, which I saw,
I
which
didn't
was
see it.
really,
Yeah,
really
I heard good
man.
things.
And it kills me that it's not on my top 10. I feel bad about it because like it deserves to be in a top 10 list. To Leslie was an absolutely phenomenal drama and got nominated. There was some controversy at the Oscars. It got nominated. They had to do an investigation because it didn't because it didn't invest big money into, you know, getting all this pull
Oh, they're like,
for
how
the
the fuck
Oscars.
did
So
this
they
get in without paying for
Exactly.
those bastards? We
so
don't
they
allow
did an
anyone-
investigation and all
they
that
got
kind of
they
stuff.
got nominated without giving their dues to the
Yeah,
the
100%.
big
That's what it
wigs.
was. That's why they did
That's
the
such-
investigation.
Such horseshit. Yeah. That's why
but-
you'll never see a true indie film end up.
Never.
Yeah.
Nothing from A24.
But To Leslie was right there, and then this one hurts me even more because you know I'm one of the biggest Nick Cage fans ever. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh,
Just
see?
barely missed my.
That's on
top
my
10.
honorable mentions. That
Yeah.
was
Oh, that's easily in mine.
2022 just feels like the year was so long.
I know.
There's some films I'm like, that I had to look up. I'm like, that was 2022 when that came out. I feel like it came out.
We were super busy this year, like reviewing films.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
That's a great one that I completely almost forgot about. Man, that film was so funny. It's Pedro Pascal, who's also been on a just
killing it.
Oh my god,
Saving magical children left and right.
God.
Doesn't matter where he's at. He's saving magical children. It's beautiful.
he's so good. But yeah, man, that's a good one. That didn't make my top 10 either. But all right,
Okay, so my official 10, and
this is official, people.
this is official. This is official.
It's on the tape.
And I love films like this because it's very like it's like a playwright, and it's one setting the entire film. And I love this because I love mob movies, and it was so clever. I didn't see it come in. It was great. And this film is called The Outfit. It was a very, very small film,
No film I've not
but
seen.
it was really good. And Cash, I know a film that you would definitely like. But after I watched this film, I watched it about 2 weeks ago. I was blown away. The performances were great. And for me, there it is, The Outfit, top 10.
Yeah,
I want to give some due credit.
has
to,
Mike Rylance in it?
Yes,
He's amazing.
he was phenomenal in this as well. Mark Rylance.
He was in Bones and All, which is a film that I saw that didn't make my top 10, but it was very good as well about cannibals. But yeah, psychological crime drama.
Yep.
Awesome. The Outfit. I didn't see it. I have to see it now. That's cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, you'll have to because you'll enjoy that. And I mean, out of 31 films to hit a top 10, it had to have been pretty good.
oh yeah, for sure. Okay. That's your number 10. Well, my number 9. Now my number 9, I know you saw also. I know you liked it a lot. It's got some controversy though. It doesn't have the best
Ooh.
reviews, honestly, but
Oh,
it has a great performance in it.
spicy.
That is The Whale.
Oh, The Whale was number 9 for you.
Number 9,
Really?
directed
Very
by Darren
fascinating.
Aronofsky, psychological drama starring just everyone's favorite right now, Brendan
Of
Fraser.
course, how do you not like the man?
God damn,
You
he's
got to be a
great.
bad person.
I've been
to like
watching
Brendan
everything too.
Fraser.
I love the end of the year when they do like the actor roundtables
Mhm.
where they bring like all
Yeah.
people from biggest films.
And they talk to each other.
Yeah, and they just talk like
Yeah.
normal people, you know. And they did, but Adam Sandler and Brendan Fraser do just
They
a
did. I watched
one-on-one,
that
and
one.
it's
Yeah.
so
It was very
good because they were in Airheads together.
Mhm. And that's kind of where Brendan
Yeah,
Fraser
He
got his
started
start.
off, yeah.
Yeah, is in Sandler films.
Yeah, and like yeah, he was in like Encino Man too, Pauly
Mhm.
Shore films, stuff like that. But
George with the Jungle.
crazy, both those guys started out with. But obviously Brendan Fraser was beautiful to look at one point. You know, he was never
George of the
yeah.
Jungle, peak physical
God
fitness.
damn, the guy was jacked in that. Yeah.
Man, not the best athleticism in the film. Ran into a lot of trees, but man, did he play the part?
Yeah,
He
but
looked
just
great in
a super interesting guy to even like,
Yeah.
because he obviously he was such a good actor always, but he loved doing those kind of slapstick comedy.
Even in The Mummy.
Yeah,
that. Mhm.
and The Mummy, man, I rewatched The Mummy, the original one with my
Mhm.
girlfriend. It's so good. It's such a fun mix of horror and comedy and like
fantasy.
adventure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and there's some scary scenes in The Mummy.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah.
are.
Yeah,
100%.
which
We should do that for a throwback someday.
that'd be
'cause
great.
I'd love to go back.
That is
and
what
rewatch
Universal
that.
has been trying to do with their films, and they didn't. But and then of course, you know, he was fucking molested at one point
He
by
was in
someone very
2010.
very high up in Hollywood, and you know, some people say it did, some people say it didn't, but it sunk his career.
It absolutely.
He was
did.
gone for a long time,
Right.
but he's had the Brendan Fraser renaissance is here, and he kills it in The Whale, man. He's putting it
does.
all out on the table. It's a great film, and whether you like the film or not, it's a great performance. No one can deny that.
It really was.
But
So
really great.
the whale for me is much higher on my list. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But and you knew it would be. It was the only film this year to make
And
me
these
cry.
top 10 films can all be damn near interchangeable
Yes.
with me. Every single one can be interchangeable. Because they're all so good, and it was such a struggle. But The Whale, yeah, it was great. There's multiple great performances in it.
Yeah.
But he steals the show.
Yes.
It's such a depressing movie too. I don't know if I'll be watching it anytime soon again.
It's
But-
not just Frasier who does a really good job, but it's also Sadie Sink does a phenomenal job in this too, and she plays just a menacing.
Well, and
horrible child.
Hong Shu or
Well,
Shao,
of
yeah,
course.
is
Yeah. Which she has made. She will be in a couple films in my top 10.
Real-
so
yeah,
it's The
I know,
Whale
and-
and I don't want to bring it up yet. But,
okay, yeah,
because my number 9 is different than that film.
okay. That's my number 9.
Okay.
The Whale. What is your number 9? I'm
All
excited
right.
to hear about
now,
it.
you brought up a little controversy, so I'm going to bring up some controversy on this podcast.
Okay.
Because I know this one probably didn't even hit your honorable mentions. But for me, I am a sucker for autobiography films, especially about musicians that I love. And I really loved the Elvis film. I
Wow.
loved it. I thought it was so
was really
good.
good.
I thought Austin Butler knocked it out of the
Oh
park.
yeah, it did not make
as
my honorable
Elvis.
mentions. Yeah, I know, but
I
it's
like
on
the filmmaking style of the movie.
Yeah. And I just kind of
Very
like
different.
it was different than like Bohemian Rhapsody, where it wasn't like a shot for shot type of like
Right, or
remake.
like Walk the Line. Or,
Yeah, or like Walk the Line. It was just like it was different, and it was almost 3 hours, but I was just engrossed in it the entire time. I enjoyed learning little things about Elvis's career that I
Mhm.
didn't even know. Like even just being a fan of Elvis, I was like, oh, this is interesting, you know. Or like his what is it called when you do that show in Vegas for a long time? It's not a stint, but it's
Residency.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
residency and whatnot. And then all of his struggles with drugs and alcoholism
Right.
during that time period and depression. You know, it was just I liked it a lot, and
And the
And just
Colonel,
the
and the
soul
Colonel too. We got to
that
talk about
Tom
old
Hanks
Tommy
put
Hanks.
into it.
Yeah,
America's
Actor is
dad.
so good.
yeah, Tommy did a good job. In that.
Yeah, I liked all the performances. They're just, and if you want, go back and watch our full review on it. But there's just parts I wish they focused more of and less of. They focus a lot on that damn Christmas show,
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they
they
focused a lot,
which
on
is a
it.
great performance. I mean, it's great,
Mhm.
but Austin Butler he kills it, and he's very, very good in it. And it might have ruined his career. Now he can only talk like Elvis.
It's rough.
It's
It's like,
And
oh.
It's-
isn't he going to be in the new Dune? Dune 2?
I think
Oh.
so.
I believe
Yeah.
he is. Yeah. He's
Rhyme
gonna
with a big sandworm.
Hey,
Hey, you little sandworm. Come on, baby.
You know what I want to see him in? I want to see him in in a new Mad Max on top, like that guy with the guitar. But instead, he's like, "Hey, Elvis, you ain't
Doing
nothing
the
but
leg
a
jive.
dog." Yeah.
Oh yeah, it did not make my top 10, but it made a lot of people's top 10, a lot of people's top list. It was good, and he has a chance to win the Oscar for that too.
Yeah, surprising. I
Who
don't think he
knows?
will.
I don't
It
think
is
he
the
will
Oscar.
either.
I don't think he will, and he would not be the one that I would choose for that.
But people
Not
love
saying it's not a great
old people love
performance,
Elvis though,
but
man.
Of course,
Old people love.
yeah, and his daughter sadly passed away.
Yeah,
this year,
very
too.
recently.
My-
So it would be like a legacy thing.
My grandpa was in a movie with Elvis.
Yeah, you told me that one time.
It
That's
happened
pretty
at the
cool.
World's Fair.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Oh,
cool.
that's a pretty
He
good
played
movie
a
too.
police officer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Was your grandpa an actor or just like he was just a cop?
He wasn't even a cop. He was in a unemployment line, and they were shooting the film in Seattle.
Wow.
And they just came up to the line and said, "Who wants to be in a movie?" He raised his hand, and they put him in a costume. And
different times. Let me tell you, different times.
You don't
It's
get
incredible.
Hey, who wants
No
to be in a movie
background
with
check,
Elvis?
nothing. Yeah, they're just like, come on set.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Can't do that nowadays.
Nope.
But,
All right, are you ready for my?
number 8. I want to hear number 8. I want to hear it right now, dude.
Okay, well, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it right fucking now. All right, I know, and this is one that I wasn't sure about going into it, but I fucking ended up loving it. Of course, everyone ended up loving it, but that's we got to put a movie there with old Tommy Cruise, right?
Oh, of course.
And that is Top Gun
That one,
Maverick.
and I'm glad you put that on your top 10 because it just barely missed mine. However,
I can't believe it.
I know it's a great film. It's a
It's
great
so-
movie,
it's
and I
so
really
good. It's
enjoyed
so
it.
stupid. It's
Yeah, but it's so.
but
American.
you end up caring about these stupid characters even more so in this one they do the original Top Gun, which is so
100%.
wild. You end up really caring about Tom Cruise and flying those damn planes.
That's hard.
Yeah,
And of course,
he does
the,
it well.
the beach scene, had us all rock hard. Let's be honest, guys.
Come on,
let's
And
be
that,
honest.
that crisscross football game. Are you kidding me?
No
What?
rules,
I was sweating.
no holds barred
Yeah.
beach football game that made zero sense.
It didn't
There was
make any
no
sense.
scoring.
No.
The volleyball scene made a lot more sense to me. There was a
Right.
goal. It wasn't too intense. It was more like a keep away. So homoerotic.
It
But
was,
so
but definitely Top Gun.
Staying in line with the whole
original.
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah, the original is just about
Just one
two
big
guys
love.
fighting off their homosexual.
Basically,
doing
yeah.
everything they can.
Unsuccessfully.
Oh, at the very end, they say, "Hey, let's." He goes, "I ride to you," and he's saying,
He goes, "You're gonna be
right now.
You
Let's
wanna be
go. Yeah.
on this jet. You're gonna sit right here, okay,
F6
on the joystick."
me.
You know?
Yeah. But yeah, loved
you.
loved Top Gun. I really did. I mean, it was such, and I don't know if it's gonna be as good as not seeing in theaters again. But when you go and see it in like an Adobe theater, and you got the best speakers on an 8-foot screen, it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I liked it. It was just super fun. It's what you want out of a summer blockbuster movie. Exactly.
Yep.
You want more than just explosions. You want to care about these characters, and you do.
And you do, and they all die in the end. Spoiler alert.
And let's be honest, Tom Cruise, he still scares the hell out of me.
God,
you
he's
know,
so awesome though.
but
He's one of those guys that I give him a pass for
I
pretty much
don't.
anything. You know, yeah, I do. I mean, not anything. Let's be realistic here. There are certain. I mean,
Let's
well,
be
I mean,
realistic.
kind of. I mean, think about
Things
what he's
will-
involved in.
and things will come out more and more. I mean, it's
that's
just gonna
true.
happen. It's crazy. He's like saved it off for this long.
But what I'm saying is, if I wouldn't put up with a lot of shit from like Hollywood people, like if they yelled at me the way that he yelled at people, like I would say something and get fired.
Right.
Rather than being abused like that. But Tom Cruise can abuse me.
He's
Would you
literally
rather be
'cause
yelled at
I'd be
from
yelled
Tom
at by Tom
Cruise
Cruise
or
on
Christian
set
Bale?
for something. See,
Just
Christian Bale, I actually, you know what, I put up with him too. Yeah, those two. Yeah,
I would
That's
too,
about
because I mean, usually when you're on a Tom Cruise, you're like, "God, we're on a Tom Cruise."
Yeah, like,
yeah.
And it's
Relax.
not the
Christian Bale
director.
sometimes is making art.
Yeah.
right.
Although
and
that was
two-
on Terminator Salvation, when
Yeah,
I would have been
which-
like, dude,
come on,
this movie fucking blows.
Now, if it's like The Machinist or something like that, okay, well, I understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
There's only
Batman.
4 of us on set.
Yeah.
But when I'm the
When
key
you can-
grip and I'm trying to fucking eat chips at the craft table, don't fucking get on my back. Yeah, yeah.
It's Terminator Salvation. Okay, there've been a billion of these films. Relax.
They're all gonna suck. But
And
but
they all
yeah.
have.
But we wouldn't even be talking about it if he wasn't the golden child of an entire religion, which is such a bizarre
He
sentence
really
to
is.
say.
He is the second version of L. Ron Hubbard. It's tremendous.
But Top Gun, say what you want about the crazy ass fucking Tom Cruise, but it's
I
great.
love him.
It's
I
a
mean,
Makes
thrill ride.
entertaining movies.
I genuinely love Tom Cruise. and
He might actually legitimately be the last like movie star.
yes,
Like
true movie star.
Yeah, like
Like-
everything he's in, everyone rushes to see
Yep.
because he's only in things that are insane.
and
Yeah.
he doesn't
Big
age.
Mission Impossible stuff.
The guy
Yeah.
is 60 years old doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And he's
He
still
is
driving or riding motorcycles off of
What-
cliffs in Norway.
And that was the
Yeah.
start. If you didn't watch,
Yeah.
you didn't go see Top Gun, they released the first 10 minutes of that stunt scene or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy.
So
and then like
stupid. Like,
breaking
how-
his
why-
ankle
how are they
on Mission
allo-
Impossible 7.
How are they
and-
allowing this?
I don't know.
because he's in charge.
Because he's incredible. He
But
is
still, I mean, there's and the insurance must be insane on that
insane.
thing, dude.
insane.
If he dies, you're paying out so much money.
Oh, sure.
But he is, and this is going to be a controversial take, but as far as film, I'm not talking about actual sports, okay? But as far as action stars, he is the Michael Jordan of action stars because the longevity of his
Oh, yeah,
career
he's done
and
it a
what
long
he's
time.
still able to do at 60
At
years old,
65, yeah.
no one else can
Yeah,
do that.
I don't
you
know.
don't, you
No one
don't
else
see
does
Arnold
that.
Schwarzenegger still making,
No.
blockbuster action movies. Even Sylvester Stallone isn't.
Yeah, and like when he does
Dog,
do
he
it, it's
can-
more of like
Sylvester Stallone can
Rambo,
barely
you
fucking
know,
move.
stunt doubles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he does his stunts,
Yeah.
a majority of them.
And we
90%
gotta
of them.
hand it to Scientology.
We do. We absolutely do. He
End
hit
of the
clear.
day,
When you hit clear, you can be like, Tom.
end of the day, we gotta give it to him. The guy hasn't aged,
I know.
but he will end up dying on set,
No,
100%.
no,
100%.
And none of us will weep. We
He's-
won't cry
no,
because
he-
everyone will be like, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that coming
He's
15
immortal.
years ago. I'm shocked it didn't happen sooner.
He's immortal. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he might.
Well,
be,
we know
actually.
once he is dead, he won't actually be dead. His body will go up into the
Space.
spaceship.
Would
And he'll meet Xenu.
Yeah.
Because these are just cages we're in right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're meat bodies.
Yeah,
that's
they
all
are.
it is.
Would you consider Keanu Reeves to still be a movie star? Like one of the last few?
No,
movie
because
stars?
but
he's in-
not as
He's in a lot of stuff that's not good.
yeah.
Well, for sure. But
Yeah, it's
I mean,
just-
John
it's a
Wick
different-
is still very popular.
Oh, 100%.
Well, that's
but
one franchise.
That's one
though.
franchise, but you can look at Tom Cruise and name off a
He's got a
ton
few,
of,
yeah,
of
for sure.
everything that he's done and the longevity of his career too. I mean, think
For
about
sure.
the
He's been around a lot longer,
early
yeah.
80s.
Yeah, and when I
as
say
well.
movie star, I mean guys that like. There's a time when like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he'd come out of the movie.
Everybody went and saw it,
Everyone
yeah.
went.
Mhm.
You know, like Kurt Russell,
But they had their runs.
or Russell Crowe or something like that. Like when he came out, like everyone went and saw something like, and it's like there's not very many guys like that. Even Brad
No.
Pitt. Brad Pitt can go and it be in a fucking
Bullet Train.
yeah, and not everyone go and fucking see it. You
Mhm.
know, so it's
Yeah, I didn't go
not-
see it.
it's-
I wanted
but
to,
Tom
though.
Cruise, he may be the last guy that you when you hear Tom Cruise.
I get excited.
No matter who you
still.
are. I would never be in a room alone with him. I've said it multiple times. He gives me the fucking willies, but I love him on camera.
Oh,
I
he'll
would
give you
love
some
to be in
willy.
a room by myself with Tom
Yeah,
Cruise
dude, and that-
just pick his brain.
And all that means is that you're just you
Just
don't have good
psychotic.
senses. You know,
I know I don't.
You're not
I
listening
don't.
to your head.
But you
know?
know, anything for the internet.
That's like man, I would love to be in a room with Jeffrey Dahmer. Like just pick his
Well,
brain.
okay, hold on. You're conflating the two here, Cash. Jeffrey Dahmer and Tom Cruise are two different people. Don't you dare insult.
They are two
the
different
great
people, man.
Tom
But
Cruise.
I have no idea, and I know what Scientology has done. They've done as six thing as Jeffrey Dahmer, man.
You know what? Enslaving people or
Yeah.
eating them. You know, tomatoes.
I know.
Okay?
I mean, there's
Potato,
people
tomato.
that people
Yeah.
haven't seen in 20 years that are part of the church, but
That's very true.
Anyways.
Well, even the leader's gone now. They don't
Yeah.
know where he's at.
well, because they're trying to find because
Oh,
they're trying to
Mr.
serve
Miscavige?
him. because
Mr.
they- of
Miscavige?
course. Yeah,
And well, Mrs. has been gone for years.
she's been gone for 20 years.
Where is she?
Well, in the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah. Well, of course. 6 feet.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think it was after his dad escaped and went on Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan and
yeah,
stuff.
And wrote a book,
yeah, pretty much exposed. a lot
which
of stuff.
locked that
Anyway,
guy up. Honestly,
we're off
Yeah.
topic.
What'd you raise?
I know.
Yeah, nothing. Anyways, Tom Cruise.
Anyway, Tom Cruise.
Cruise.
That's how good he is.
Yeah,
We're
I
going to go on
know.
a 15-minute discussion about Tom Cruise because he's so prevalent in movies.
Yep.
He's incredible.
Okay, that was my number 8. What's your number 8?
I forget now.
Yeah, I know.
It was just so much fun to talk
Captivating.
about. Let me go number 8. Number 8. The Menu.
Oh yes,
The
this-
Menu is number 8.
I'm very happy that you put this one on yours.
I had to. I really enjoyed this, and I recommended it to everyone.
I loved it, and I think I loved it even more than some people did. But I thought it was very clever, very fun, great acting. Ralph Fiennes does an amazing job.
on Anna Taylor-Joy too.
Yeah, amazing.
Absolutely
The
great,
story was
as
it was
always.
so much. That was one that when I saw, I'm like, oh my god, that looks. I don't know. The advertising I thought was bad, but
It was very bad
looked-
because when you and I started, I was like, cannibalism.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it's
you and I were
cannibals.
both like, okay,
Yeah.
cannibalism.
They're feeding.
So I knew what
yeah.
it was. But then when you watch the film, you don't know what it was.
No.
That's why I didn't see it for so long until you told me, like, hey, by the way,
You gotta
that's
see
not
this.
cannibalism.
Yeah, it's
And
not.
I'm
No.
like, okay.
Cannibalism, yeah. But it's just a great script too, man. The script was really, really good.
Yeah.
The writing was great. It all came together amazingly. Yeah, just clever, way more clever than it had any right to be. And no one was talking about it. They kind of just threw it on HBO Max.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
And-
when I saw it. I saw it for free.
And yeah, same. And the whole concept of like the seven deadly sins and whatnot, and each table representing that.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot. It was a very deep script and great screenplay.
Okay, well, I'm glad you picked that one. Let me get to my number 7, and that is a superhero film.
Uh-oh.
What?
Yeah,
A superhero film?
superhero film. The Batman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Batman's on my list. Too. Okay. I was like, what? Superhero film? I was like going
Ant-Man.
like Marvel. I'm like, yeah.
No.
Oh, God. Which my apologies to everyone this week. I'd like to
Man,
say
I think you
live
need to
on the
bring it up.
podcast. Ant-Man was so egregious and so boring. I fell asleep for about a half an hour. So we are not going to be.
Yeah, if you want to
reviewing
go
that
see a
today.
good film, though, go and see The Batman.
The Batman was great. That
Which
one's much higher on my list.
I love, directed by Matt Reeves, starring our new Batman, Robert Pattinson. And this came out in a uncertain times for DC.
Yeah,
But
very much
man,
so.
I loved it. It focused more on the detective aspect of Batman. It was more of a
Zodiac killer.
yeah, it was more of a
Mhm.
cop versus serial killer, which I loved. And I'm a big Dano head. Everyone knows I love me
We
some
all
Dano.
love us some Paul Dano,
God
yes.
damn, the guy's so fucking good.
In
But yeah, man.
everything that he does, and yeah, he really is. And I love the set design too. I love the Wayne mansion and whatnot.
Yeah,
like
the
it all
tower
just
and
looked
everything.
The
really
whole
good.
city of Gotham.
Yeah,
was
the whole
just
city
so
looked
cool.
awesome.
Very gothic.
And it had
And
such
the
just
car too, the Batmobile.
oh, the
Awesome,
muscle
dude.
car
The
looks
muscle
so
car
cool.
was sweet.
But the cast was insane. Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright, John Turturro, Peter Skarsgård, Andy Serkis.
Crazy.
Colin Farrell was so
Yeah.
good as the penguin.
Penguin.
So good that he's getting a spin-off show.
Hey, take it
Take
easy,
it easy.
Batman. I love that. That's my favorite part of that film.
But I loved it, man. I've rewatched it since too. It's a great it's a great like retelling of the Long Halloween, a great comic book from great Batman run. But I loved it, man. I can't wait. Fucking 3 years or 2 years when we get the next one in 2025. But
I know it is going to be a little bit of a wait, but I am very happy to hear that even with this whole new kind of transfer over with DC Studios now and James Gunn, that they are
Still
going to
keeping it.
continue it.
oh
which
yeah.
I'm very, very thrilled for. So,
All right, man. That was my number 7.
okay. So my number 7, we've already talked about this film a little bit, but it is what it is, and it is The Whale. The Whale was number 7 on my list. Again, just to hit up on it. Brendan Fraser coming back. It was just absolutely awesome. So yeah, there it is, number 7.
Him cramming those Milky Ways.
That scene too, it's just so like it's gut wrenching and like, ugh, like I wanted to puke because like Brendan Fraser was actually eating that food and gorging himself. Milky Way after Milky Way, putting it in his mouth and swallowing. You can literally watch him. How many takes of that did he do? The guy did not have lunch on set the entire shoot. Okay,
It was-
there's no way. And like, if I was that actor, I would have to in between takes, I'd have to go and start puking.
to get all of it out.
I mean, dude, like,
That's just too much
Did you
sugar.
see it?
I have not seen it.
Oh my
yet.
gosh, bro.
It was only in theaters for like 2 weeks.
So he does this where there's one scene in particular, and spoil whatever, you know what the film's about.
No,
Like,
yeah.
I'm a big person.
Yeah.
But 2 pizzas, smushes them together, puts like jelly and all that, and just and he's eating it.
Yeah,
like actually
it's
swallowing and eating. And then it's another scene of him eating candy bars. But normal people
Just
eat
like-
a candy bar.
just like shoving it in.
But it's
Yeah.
the whole thing. Boom, swallow. Took another one.
And he's a
boom,
big guy
whole thing,
too. He's a big guy.
swallow.
I mean, in real life, he's
In
a
real
big
life,
guy, like
yeah.
tall and really big. But
I don't know how he did that. I don't know
yeah,
how
and a
he
lot of
did that.
people, there's some controversy about that film because a lot of people said it was fat shaming and whatnot. But
oh, shut up.
I don't care.
it is. It was just
I've been
a.
fat multiple times, and fat shaming does work to a certain capacity. I don't think you should be.
I don't think it was that
necessarily
at all. I
rude
think it
about
was just a very realistic portrayal of an addict, which would be
Yes.
the same thing as saying it's shaming
disease.
a movie about addiction.
Yeah,
which-
it's
just-
100%.
it wasn't showing like, oh man, these people are disgusting. It's showing that this can be an addiction and it is a way to kill yourself. And
Yeah.
that's how he did it. So in a
Well, I
very,
think the
very
film showed that,
realistic,
and
very
yeah,
realistic portrayal of someone that does deal with that amount of weight too. And at no point was it like we should look down on these people.
no.
It's like we should reach
No, it's
out and try to help.
someone
Yeah.
exactly. It's someone dealing with an addiction that is going to kill them, and it's not something that should be celebrated in the mainstream. You should look at that and be like, "This is unhealthy. You can die. There are health consequences for being morbidly obese." That we don't look at a heroin addict who's got a bunch of scars and is skinny and go, "Oh, that's good. Let's celebrate that." So why do we celebrate morbidly obese people? We should. We should also get the help for them. So I completely agree. 100%.
Yeah, the main reason was that it could be an addiction, absolutely, and that these most of these people just need help bad, and they are broken people, and that's what Brendan Fraser was in the film. He was the most broken person, and he had no one to turn to.
None.
So he turned to pizzas. Lots of
A lot of
pizzas, and
pizzas.
the pizza guy tried to reach out to him as well, and that it was
And then when he finally did see him, he made him
It's-
feel like
it's
horrible.
a heartbreaking movie, but a
Yeah.
beautiful movie. All right, that was your number 7, right?
Was
My
number
number 6, and I was shocked when I heard this didn't even make your top 10. Shocked, Mason. That is Jordan Peele's Nope. This
Okay, so
this
I
guy,
feel
this
like- I
fucking
feel
I've seen
like-
it. I saw it 3 times in theaters, and it wasn't even my favorite Jordan Peele movie.
It was my favorite Jordan Peele film.
Yeah.
I cannot say Jordan Peele and then film right
No,
afterwards
you
for
can't.
whatever
That's a
reason.
tongue twister.
Film Peele film. There we go. I got it. But no, I loved Nope, and it probably in hindsight could have taken. I just feel like Elvis really needed to be on my list for whatever reason.
I know. I can't believe Elvis was on your list. I
But-
wish you had to remind me of that.
It's just I'm a sucker for music. I
Elvis
don't
needed-
know. I'm a sucker.
I
for
love
it.
music too, man. But
And I thought the performance was good, but nonetheless, Nope, absolutely awesome. I love this from start to finish. I love the alien aspect of it, and I love how unique it was.
I
There's not a
know.
film that is a sci-fi
what I
alien
love
film
too, yeah.
like Nope out there, and it's
Nope.
just a completely original screenplay. And that's something you and I always talk about, Cash. Why can filmmakers make original ideas? Well, boom, bada bing, bada boom. Of course, Jordan Peele comes in and makes one.
Of course,
You
he's
know?
one of the best writer directors out there. You know, he's up there with Quentin Tarantino. His writing is so amazing, and he's been. I thought Nope got snubbed at the Oscars for not getting any not best original
Yes.
screenplay or anything. It's the characters are so well written. They're so realistic. And there's so many times in films when something absolutely crazy happens and the characters don't react in a way that you and I react. In this film, they fucking react in the way they see something crazy and they go. I mean, obviously
Nope.
they go nope.
I'm
And they
out. Goodbye.
nope the fuck out of there. Exactly what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
But like you said, the alien was so unique and so horrifying in the way that it was an animal and it was predatorial.
Yeah.
And that
And you couldn't make eye
it did
contact with it.
displays of violence to scare off other things and other people, and that the blood scene where it drenches the house and the screams.
Do you know what scene messed me up the most? Because I'm like, wow, like that is what my idea of like a horror alien would be when all the people got sucked up and they're like getting
Yes.
digested.
Oh, of course.
It was so
Like, they're getting crushed.
claustrophobic
Yeah.
and like I just felt awful and so horrified watching that scene because they're literally getting
Oh, yeah.
digested.
That
they
and-
think it's like a beautiful thing and it's not.
Yeah, that and the Gordy scene really fucking stuck with me, man. That was so brutal.
Yeah,
But I loved it, man.
Poor old woman.
Oh
whose
yeah,
face
fuck.
got ripped off by a
Her lips
Gordy.
got ripped off. Yeah,
But I mean, poor
horrible.
monkey or whatever that had to,
Chip.
chip.
And exactly,
Yeah.
man. Go back and watch our review. I love our review that we did of that one. That's
Yeah.
like one of our favorite because we do kind of dive deeper into like how we're the aliens to Gordy and the same thing,
Mhm.
and it's how it's predatorial, just like the ship was. So go and watch that for sure. But it was so good, man. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's right up there. One of my favorite movies of all time is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and this one felt like that. And I haven't seen a film like that in a long time.
Yeah.
All right, man. That was my number 6. Oh, we're getting down to it.
We are getting down to it. All right. So this one, it gets harder and harder the farther down I go. And I feel like a part of me wants to put this one higher, but performance alone, it should be a top 5, but it's not going to be. But nonetheless, Kate Blanchett, so good in this
Oh,
film.
God. And this didn't even make my top 10.
Tar-
I'm ashamed.
Tar is number 6 for me. Oh my goodness, one of the best performances I've seen this year. the monologues that she had, the consistent monologues, the long 15-minute takes,
Yeah.
one single shot, and all choreographed and all like it's just like it's a really powerful film too, and it deals. And I loved how it was a unique spin on abuse in powerful positions, because this film would have been more stereotypical had it been the man. Because I mean, you know, majority of the time it is the men in power who do these kind of things.
Oh yeah.
But it was
The
it was
writing was
interesting
so
twist,
good, too.
yeah, for it to be a female who had all this power. She had an ego, she had everything in the world, but she also started abusing her power.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really good film.
Gets what she deserves to at the end, but it is a great film and a great performance too by Kate Blanchett. I did not make my top 10, but it was a struggle not to put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really, really good. All right, are you ready for my number 5?
I am.
Are you ready? This is an animated film.
Oh, okay. So you know what? That's kind of
Oh.
crazy. You and I have the same top 5 here. Yeah.
But do we?
I already know what it is.
Look at things match up.
It is. That's weird. That is
Of course.
actually crazy.
It's Puss in Boots.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
Your face.
Wrong animated film.
Although I did hear Puss in Boots was amazing.
That's what I
did
heard,
not
yeah.
see it. I did not see it, but I want to see it. But no, of course,
Guillermo
Guillermo
del Toro.
stands here. You got it.
So good.
This is
Pinocchio
Del
was
Toro's
so good.
Pinocchio. Of course, number 5, directed by the man himself. Yeah, we did round of applause
For a top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was not in the top 5, but yeah, why the hell not? I mean, so good. We've all seen the Pinocchio story 1,000 times, man. I'm so over it. And there's like 3 Pinocchios that came out last year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And 2 of them were fucking awful, but 1 was amazing. And 1 I will keep rewatching. It's in there for like classic animated films for me. If I had kids, I'd force them to watch it.
I would. This would be the one. And that's the thing too. It's very dramatic. There are serious moments in this film, heart-wrenching.
Oh,
films
yeah.
that, like,
Very adult themes.
Very, very much so.
But
but
themes
it's
the kids can handle.
beautifully done, man. And this was a film, Cash. You can go back to 2018 on our podcast where we were talking about this.
Yeah. Well, they've been
Like,
talking
when
about
is
this
Guillermo
at
del Toro-
Netflix forever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it finally came out at the tail end of 2022, and it was well worth the wait, man. From start to finish, the voice acting was great. The young boy who played
Ewan McGregor,
Pinocchio,
David Bradley, Ron
Stop
Perlman,
motion
of course,
was
John
fantastic.
Turturro,
yes.
Ben Wolfhard, who
Yep.
played Pinocchio, Kate
Ron
Blanchett
Perlman.
again,
yeah,
Tim
she's-
Blake Nelson, and Christoph Waltz, of course,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
always the bad guy, always great.
Always,
Tilda
yes.
Swinton.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing, man. And Ewan McGregor, too, was great.
Killed it.
As Jiminy Cricket, or
Jiminy.
not Jiminy, Jay Cricket.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That's
But
Jiminy.
Sebastian J.
Sebastian
Cricket,
J.
yeah.
Cricket.
Yeah.
I loved it, man. I loved the backdrop of putting in World War II. Makes everything so much darker and just scarier.
World War One and World War II.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah, the
'cause it starts
combination.
off
It does start off as one.
in one,
Yeah.
and then it's in the other.
yeah, but the main part. I mean,
For
Pinocchio
sure.
was around in World War II.
For sure,
Yeah, and
most
then
of
the little Mussolini.
Oh my God, yeah.
Short little-
It may be the hardest I laughed
So
all
funny.
fucking
That
year.
was
I
so
laughed.
funny.
He's got like tiny arms,
So-
tiny
I
body,
like
just
it,
like
the
walking
puppet.
around.
I like it, the
Duce.
puppet.
I like it.
I like it.
I do not like it. Just a puppet. I'll kill him.
And it's just hilarious, the whole aspect of him being killed so many times in brutal ways too.
I know.
But loved it. I will go back to and watch it again.
Fantasy
so good.
aspect to it was perfectly done. I mean, honestly, I haven't seen an animated film that delved into fantasy that did it this good.
Yeah.
In forever.
When, as we brought up too, just a story that has been done so many times. That's one of the hardest challenges, to actually make it unique, because the plot points, where the story's going. So you have to have the audience be engaged the entire time, knowing what's going to happen at the end.
Yeah.
And for him to accomplish that just tells you
he's
how
the
good
perfect
Guillermo
guy though,
is.
because he already has that fantasy theme to all his films,
Mm-hmm.
that dark kind of like grim tale up to everything. So this is a perfect film, and like you said, he changed things in a way that made it more interesting. Changing the whale to a giant dogfish, and then adding Mussolini and all those things. Of course, it's still Toro, and I hope he gets him the Oscar, another Oscar.
I hope so. He deserves it.
Yeah,
Especially.
But Marcel the Shell with the shoes on that, I haven't
I
seen.
know.
Everyone is freaking out about it, and I need to see that too.
And it's an
But
A24 film, and
I
we're
know.
A24
It probably
heads.
would have made my top 10 list had I seen it, but I
There's
just haven't seen
another-
it yet.
There's another film that we should review called it's After Sun or Afterburn. something like that. It's a new A24 film that dropped on streaming.
Oh,
but
I have to look it up.
It's
then,
been
yeah.
getting pretty good buzz.
Well, because that was our number 5. Should I just go to my number 4? Did you want to say anything else about Paniccio?
No, I absolutely loved it. And at one point I thought it was going to be number 1 on my list. That's how much
I know, me too.
Seriously.
I think after I saw it, I was like, fuck, that was so fucking. I had
Yeah.
to sit with it a while, but it was good. All right. My number 4, a film that you didn't see till late, but I had to force you to see it, Mason.
Oh.
Well, not really. I just told you to see it, but it's the Banshees of Inisherin is my
Okay.
number 4, a film that I loved. A black tragic comedy is what it's called, and I loved it.
So when we get to the top 5, this is kind of weird because I'm not joking. I can show you my list right now. That is also number 4. Now I know number 3 is different. I know number 3 is different for sure. But Banshees of Inisherin was also my number 4. I love this film from start to finish. Colin Farrell is one of my favorite actors
It's so
right now.
funny.
And Barry Keoghan.
Yeah.
Those two are just awesome.
It's
I love them.
it's so funny, and it is a black comedy, but it's
Yes, it
Martin
is.
McDowell, who we love on this podcast. You know, he's another great writer director, but his screenplays are phenomenal. We loved 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
I think that was my number 1 film in
Made,
2018 or
yeah.
17.
And we've been waiting for him to do another film, and it's finally done. He went back to Ireland, and it is just the performances. Brendan Gleeson, man, his performances of the distraught, conflicted artist who is struggling with his art and what's more important of either it comes down to being a nice guy or being a great artist.
Mhm.
And he says you can't be both.
Yep.
And it's just the cutting off the fingers and then the fucking donkey choking.
Insane, dude. That film gets a little nutty with that kind of stuff because he cuts off his
It's
whole
so
hand.
good, and it's so fucking very Irish, man. Just how the way they handle things.
It's so funny too.
Knocks on
Between
his
him
door,
and his sister.
I'm gonna burn down your house tomorrow. You can be in it or you cannot be in it, but I'm gonna burn down your house. And no matter what he says, he comes back tomorrow, he burns down his fucking house. Yeah.
And it was during a time period where there was an Irish Civil War as well.
Yeah.
So, and I love that
Which
kind
is
of
most of the time period.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I love that where they'll just hear like gunshots off in the distance and he just looks over and
And
he's
the
like,
backdrop
I
of
hope
that,
no one gets hurt.
like Irish Isle is so amazing, so beautiful. It's just the smallest town too.
Yeah.
And just like how that community is, how nosy everyone was.
But you're not going to the pub. You told me you were going to the pub today. You're not going to the pub. You always go to the pub.
You got no news, man. The lady, no news. Don't come back with no news. And brutal, man. We love films that go from that really light comedy to dramatic and dark, and it does that, especially with Derek Colgan's character being molested by his dad,
and then not being the smartest, and
then
eventually,
it's a brutal film, and everyone should go and see it. It's
well worth the $5.99.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm so glad I did because it definitely, obviously, number 4 on my list as well. So
yeah, all right. Number 3 is one you kind of already spoiled, but one I loved, another horror film, and that is Barbarian.
Wow, that hit your number
Zach
3.
Krager, yep,
you
number 3.
Really love this film.
I loved it, man. It was one of my favorite films last year.
Yeah,
top 5. Yeah. Really? I loved it. It was not at all what I was expecting, and it was great because the advertising was great where it really got you into it, but it did not tell you anything about the film at all. You had no idea. At first you thought it was gonna be this like home invasion thing with the whole red herring of Bill Skarsgård.
You thought for sure there's something weird going on with this guy.
Screaming at night and having crazy nightmares. The doors opening.
It was really a good red herring because I did not see that coming at all.
And then they open this portal to hell that's beneath this house, and really like all Detroit. And it was just the writing was so good. It was so scary. It turned into like this thriller, into this classic monster film with a great monster. One
of my favorite scenes in that film too, and it's so funny because he's like, they go to this guy who's like homeless, and he's in there, and he goes, don't worry, she don't come through here. She don't come here. And then bursts through the wall, rips his arm off. And I'm like, oh.
That was so good too, man. You thought that guy was, obviously another red herring was like that. You thought that guy was a piece of shit, was the murderer or something. And then he ends up it's a crazy story. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's the craziest story that you can find me out. But it's so well written, and there's like a ton of world building in it. Where it's like you want kind of more movies in this universe because it goes back to the guy in like the 50s, and he was just like this crazy serial killer.
Yep.
And he got away with it. He built like this
Giant underground tunnel.
He's kidnapped, or he had these women in cages, and he had kids, and one becomes this giant, grotesque, super mommy monster who just wants a baby. It's just crazy. I loved it, man. It's a thrill ride, and Zach Krager from Wires Kids You Know fame, he got a huge deal with like Universal after this. It was like a 5-film deal or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see more from him. But yeah, I loved it.
Okay, I just realized I have 11 films, but these are my top. Shoot. Okay, whatever. I don't care. Honorable. Actually, I'm just going to say this is. I'm going to give 2 films.
Mentions?
No, I'm going to do 2 films in my top 3.
Okay.
So 2 films are going to be number 3, which makes no sense, but only because you already brought up one.
Okay.
The Batman. So we already talked about that. We don't need to hit up on it.
Okay,
again.
perfect. That's fine.
But number 3 for me, which I already know where this one is on Cash's list. Okay. So I kind of feel bad for bringing it up already. But it did not hit number 1 for me, but I did love the film. I loved it. And we are A24 heads, and that's Everything Everywhere All at Once was number 3 for me.
Yeah. We can just talk about it briefly, and then I'll talk about it more for my number 1. But an amazing film. I'm glad it made your top 3.
Yes, it did.
But yeah,
so good.
But yeah,
so
I knew
good.
it was going to hit your 1, so I was like, okay, 3 is a good
and
spot
what
for
a just the best indie film, man. It's just, I mean, for an independent film, just so crazy. But we'll talk about it more on my number 1. But I'm glad it made your top 3. Let's do my number 2.
Yes,
I don't know my number. I don't even know if you watched it, honestly. But my number 2 is also has some controversy, the weirdest controversy, but it is a war film, All Quiet on the Western Front.
I did watch this. I just didn't watch the last. It was about a half an hour. Of the film.
You gotta watch it because the last half hour is another war scene.
I know. I've heard
it's so.
What I watched though, it was a phenomenal film,
Oh,
and it made
God.
my honorable mentions.
It was
even though I didn't
so
finish
good,
it.
man, and I can't believe it took me this long to watch it, but it was so damn good. Just a very, very realistic portrait of, and on the German side as well. You know, you don't see films like that.
No, you don't.
And obviously a book that most people have to read in high school. And a great book, but man, the film was so good. It was just the war scenes were horrible, man, and just the
When we watched,
enthusiastic of all the soldiers there and how bad they want to fight and how quickly that turns to when they find out they lost the war, they don't care. They have no reaction at all. They're just so happy that the war is over. It's brutal, and it shows a very realistic portrait of the difference of being an officer and being a soldier, and telling those guys to keep on fighting when they know they had lost the war.
when they
Just
kind of
keep
throw
on
you in a
pushing.
curveball in that film too, because you think some of those young men are going to be the lead in the films, and then
A lot of them.
one of them makes a bad decision and decides to go out there when he keeps telling him, "Don't go out there."
Yeah.
He's dragging him back in, and the kid doesn't listen, and boom.
Well, they all
And just
it's
body parts
it's
everywhere.
it's tragic too. But like you said, it's so good. Like it is like a snapshot of World War II. And like going back and watching, not all quiet, but They Shall Not Grow Old.
Okay, that's what I was just about to bring up. Peter Jackson's documentary, and
It's like
kind
if
of
you
contrast the World War I together.
Yeah,
with
if you
this.
made a film like a scripted film of They Shall Not Grow Old, it is All Quiet on the Western Front.
100%,
Like
yeah.
it is just from down to like, and it being all German is great.
Yep.
But just seeing like the background of like the officers deal with like and try to do the truce, and the Germans coming and being like, we want to cease fire, and the French being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Cease fire? Like, what, so you can regroup? Like, and they don't even understand it. And it's a crazy film, and a lot more war scenes than I thought it was going to be. But it's just so interesting to see it from a different side and perspective.
And I think that's something too that we have to look at, because we often, and I understand where this comes from. It's a tribalism mentality where we look at the other side and we go pure evil.
Oh,
But there were also kids, man, who were indoctrinated into this stuff, who were forced into these war situations that didn't have a say whether or not
They just
went
knew
to
they were
war or
fighting for their
not.
country. Everyone's gonna, and I mean, very few people end up not doing that. I mean,
Right.
so no, I mean, these were just
They
regular
were just
guys.
kids
They're
too,
kids,
man.
yeah.
A lot of them, and it's
It would have been
sad,
the
it's
exact
tragic.
same story on the other side, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
They just ended up losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
And World War One is a much more ambiguous, even to World War Two,
Mhm.
where it's like these guys were the Nazis, which people like to call these guys Nazis, but
And they
it's
were
before
not.
Nazis
Yeah, it
at all.
was.
But it's a crazy story. But the controversy was when it came out, was everyone saying people were mad because they saying it was an anti-war film, which
Well,
isn't.
Shouldn't that be a good thing? Shouldn't anti-war
I'm
films
lost.
be a good thing? I'm
Or-
sorry. Since when did everyone become pro-war
Yeah, not
in
only
this
that,
country? Like,
But
what?
oh yeah, they're saying well, they're
this
saying
year
it's
actually.
it's liberal
Yeah,
anti-war propaganda. Isn't every war? Isn't a good war
All war
film
movies
all
are supposed to be.
anti-war.
Is there ever been a war
yes.
film where you at the end of it you go, man, we gotta have another one of those?
Can't wait to be into that. Can't wait to see my buddies die beside me.
I don't
and
remember
we get
watching
exploded.
Saving Private Ryan and being like, oh, we need another one of those.
Sure would be fun to interact in that right there. No.
Every war movie you should come away with it being like, why
War's
are we still
ass.
doing this?
Why are we doing this? We've been around tens of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Why are we still going to war? Can't we solve our problems
I-
not by going to war and having millions of people die?
Yeah,
Nope.
so I really
crazy.
thought going into it was gonna be some kind of like bleeding heart like this, but it's just a realistic portrayal of war.
Yes.
Every portrayal of war should be
horrible.
an anti-war.
Yeah.
Like it's so
That's common sense.
that
It's
was
dishonest if it's not.
Yeah.
no, it's
should not-
propaganda if
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not.
yeah, it's glorifying
Yeah,
propaganda
exactly.
if it is glorifying war. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I just thought that was so fucking weird. And after seeing it, it's just again you scratch your head even more and be like, what the hell's wrong with some of these people, man? It's just the way. I don't know, but it is such a good film. It's beautiful. Like you said, it's very realistic in the portrayal because really no one makes it out. And even if you are gonna make it out in this film, you know what kind of life you're gonna live after stabbing a guy, then shoving his mouth with dirt and watching him suffocate, choking on his vomit and his blood, It's a crazy story.
It is.
But it's a great film. Very long, but it deservedly so.
And I also, I know we reviewed this back in 2018, which just came up on one of my Facebook memories, which was pretty cool. But you did bring it up earlier. They Shall Not Grow Old. You should watch this one after the other.
Yeah.
Because They Shall Not Grow Old, what Peter Jackson does, he takes World War I footage, super old, very grainy, and completely transforms it, puts color to it. And actually, instead of like the 12 frames a second where it looks all choppy and whatnot,
It's beautiful.
24
it's
30
completely
frames.
restored footage, in color too, and it does not look real. It's
it
crazy.
humanizes those people too, because
Yeah.
you can look at that footage and go,
It's the best war documentary I've ever seen.
It doesn't make you
100%.
feel like there's like a big time gap.
Yeah, there's not that time gap there.
Yeah, it's because seeing these in black and white it doesn't make them feel. It makes them look like historical subjects. It doesn't make it feel like people. But movies like this, where you can feel that these are just regular dudes, regular Joes, just doing what they think is best.
Yeah.
It's it's a great story. But yeah, They Should Not Grow Old. Check it out. It's on Netflix. Free if you have that.
And it just won a BAFTA too.
Yeah, and it's been
See that?
nominated for so many awards.
Yeah, it'll
too.
probably
Rightfully
win some
so,
Oscars as
man.
well.
It's good too, and not like a big studio. It's a foreign film,
Mhm.
so it's a big studio was not backing
Who
it or
made
anything
it?
like that. Who directed it?
Oh yeah, just who? Like what company? What?
Edward Berger, and I don't even know the production companies are like
Just some small company.
Amusement Park. Was the I mean
what
I
a
yeah,
production
and then
name.
Netflix
creative.
bought the rights for it. They didn't.
Yeah.
Netflix didn't
Gotcha.
produce it.
Okay,
Of course,
okay.
Netflix didn't produce it.
So they
yeah.
pulled the Daily Wire, let someone else make it, and just slap their name on it.
Yeah, I don't really like comparing it to anything the Daily Wire has brought out. But yeah, I guess in that sense, well, that's what Netflix does. They produce very few films.
For
They
sure.
mostly buy the rights.
Which I
Yeah.
would rather have them do that, because the films that they do make are not very good.
No, they're not.
So please keep doing that.
Okay, that's my number 3, man.
Number 2, wasn't it?
Number 2.
For number 2, yeah. Okay,
Well, that's
so
my number 2. I'm sorry.
my number 2 is the very first time Jimmy ever came on a podcast. The Northman is my number 2.
Yeah, see, it didn't even make my top 10.
I loved The Northman.
love The
I love the
Northman, too.
mythology. It was awesome. It really was. And the battle scene at the end was one of the coolest things I've ever witnessed in film. I just
Up there with the Mustafar scene.
yeah, and it had my gal in it, Anya Taylor-Joy.
I
As well.
just-
Did a great job.
Yeah, I rewatched it. I rewatched it recently, like a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago. And it's just the third act gets really, really slow.
Yeah,
Really
it
slow,
does.
unfortunately. And because the first 2 parts are so good, and like right up to the part where he goes and gets the sword with the big giant ancient guardian guy. He's
Yeah.
like that, but then it really, really slows down. But yeah, it was on my top 10 until like 2 minutes before. It was so hard. It was so good. And there was one that I couldn't, I even forgot that came out in 2022. Again, it was like one that
came out in April.
And again, one of my favorite
Yeah,
directors
April,
right now,
May.
Robert Eggers. I mean,
so
just
good.
killing it. The Witch, The Lighthouse,
bombed at the box
Northman.
office.
But yeah, but they gave it a lot of they gave it a big budget though for his kind of films.
A new film announced by him though. Did you hear about this?
No.
Nosferatu.
Guess who's in
writing,
it?
directing.
Is it?
It's
You said
you said Joe Hill's
acting in it,
Nosferatu?
right?
Yeah,
Not I know he's directing.
Guess who's acting in it?
I don't know.
Who's been in other?
William Dafoe.
Is it Willem Dafoe? Yes.
Willem Dafoe,
Is he
baby.
Nosferatu?
Let's go.
I think he's Nosferatu.
Fuck yes.
Dude, that's a
Love it.
celebration
He's
right
gonna
there.
be so weird.
Dude,
in
that's
that.
gonna
my
be amazing.
gosh.
Is it after based off of Joe Hill's Nosferatu novel,
I don't believe so.
or is it the classic?
It's the
Nosferatu?
classic. I mean, if
Okay.
I know anything about Robert Eggers, I'm sure it's gonna be the classic
Right.
Nosferatu.
Because
Yeah,
I
the
know.
1922 Nosferatu.
Okay, yeah, because I know Joe Hill's been getting a lot of movie love lately.
That's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be good, dude. It's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Well, before we already talked about that number one a little bit. Before we do it, should we talk about some flubs of?
Yeah, before we get to the number one, we can talk
these
about
are
some of the
always
worst
good.
films.
These are all. We're not gonna go out and
2022.
give a child a Razzie.
Should
but
we
can
No,
at
we
least-
won't do that.
Should
No,
we start off with Ant-Man?
no, that's
no.
2023.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
for
yeah,
next
you're
year.
right, you're right,
For
you're
next
right.
year.
You're right.
Worst
Who
films.
releases
I
a
have.
movie in February.
These are some big blockbuster films too that I saw. Number one. These aren't any particular.
No, we don't have to have them in
No.
order. They all suck.
Jurassic World Dominion.
Awful. Awful. What a joke. No
What a way to
stakes.
end the series.
No stakes whatsoever. Never felt like any of the characters were going to die. It was just literally, here's a lot of money.
Them pumping
CGI
that
dinosaurs.
movie up, being like, we're bringing the crew back, the bands back together, and then
To just
shitting a movie out.
no stakes. No stakes whatsoever.
bad.
Not a single one of them died. Not anyone ever dies in those films, and there's dinosaurs everywhere.
And there's barely any dinosaurs in that film.
I
Again,
know. It
the
was
first
all
the first half of the film,
whatever.
there's no dinosaurs. They're setting everything up. Oh my god! And they spent so much money, and that film still made $1 billion.
I don't know how.
I'll
I'll never see it again.
It's just because of the name.
I'm excited for that 65 million film. Though,
So
with Adam
am I,
Driver. That
honestly.
one looks really cool.
Yeah,
It
people were
does.
shitting on that.
Yeah.
It's like
looks
it's
really
good.
Planet of the Apes meets Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and I've been waiting for like a really cool dinosaur movie that could do something different.
No,
than
it's like
Jurassic Park.
Turok. Did you ever play
Turok,
Turok?
dude,
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like that's what it is.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Turok.
On the
yeah.
original, I know
Xbox, that
also
was so
N64, but the Xbox where you can
The
blow
Xbox
their
game
heads
was
off.
so good.
It's so cool.
That
I
game
love
was
that
so
game.
awesome.
I put in all the cheat codes and I'd have the big machine gun and I'd do it for hours. I just mowed out all those dinosaurs.
That game was so
Just-
good
yeah.
because like whenever a dinosaur got close to you, you could hit R3 and do like an animation. You snap it
Snap,
next, so
yeah.
they could just like hordes of dinosaurs. You just be out there snapping.
Snap.
for it.
Yeah, and you're invincible. And it was just so much fun. As a
Yeah, when
little
you snap
kid.
next, you can't be hurt. So it was like it was
Just
amazing.
bodying Velociraptor.
Anyways, Dress World Dominion. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I wanted that
Not
movie to
great.
be good so bad. You didn't see this, but I saw Fantastic Beasts.
I just couldn't do
was
it.
so bad.
I watched the first 15 minutes of it. And
Oh,
then
you
we were like,
did?
okay, we're done.
It was
We're done.
horrible. Even getting rid of Johnny Depp and adding
Colin Farrell.
Mads. No, Mads.
Or no,
Mads
Mads.
Mikkelsen,
No,
yeah.
yeah, Mads. Yeah.
Black Adam.
Really?
It made my. I
Really?
really did
See,
not like
I didn't.
that
I
much.
didn't think that deserved to be on like a stinker. It was middle of the road. for me.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
I
that more
wanted
than I
it
did
to
Ant-Man.
way better.
Film.
It was
That's-
40 years in the making.
I know it was middle of the road for me though.
40.
Well, but I remember them announcing The Rock as Black
Yeah,
Adam
for
in
sure.
2000.
Well, it has been ongoing mitigations for a very long
And
time.
according to him, he's still the Black Adam, but he's not. He will never play that again.
Yeah, he's stretching that one out real far.
These two last ones are the worst films I saw last year.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, I already know what ones they are. They're
Okay.
so bad, and we had to suffer through them.
This is no particular order. Number one, and two. And we reviewed both of these.
Yes, we
films.
did. Unfortunately, go back and watch those reviews because they're fun. If you didn't have to watch the movie like us, Go
I will
ahead.
start out with Texas Chainsaw.
I
Some people like this film.
don't understand how
I don't.
the
I-
dialogue was so bad.
In
Like,
these films, if they even have good kills, I can like it. like I can like that's a bare minimum. And I didn't even like the way these characters when he goes on the bus with the chainsaw and no one's climbing out a window, they're all
Everyone's
running
recording.
straight.
They're recording.
This guy's getting chainsawed and
I'm like,
he's
this
still
is
recording.
so
Like
stupid.
like,
dude.
oh, this is gonna be such a powerful take on society. Like we're gonna like
that. Okay, so that was my biggest issue. Dude, I can handle like certain ideologies in film if you write the dialogue well.
Yeah.
But it was so like, so if you're against guns, whatever, that's fine. That's your opinion. But the dialogue in this
or if
was
you're against
so
teens
cheesy.
with phones.
Yeah. But it was so cheesy where it was like, oh yeah, he's got a gun on his side. It was something in the very beginning of the film where I'm like, what is going on? This dialogue is just so bad.
I
It's
wanted
not
it
good.
to be. I wanted it to be good, but it was
Oh.
so forgettable. It was so.
And remember, I was actually pretty excited for it too.
Oh, both of us were.
And I was so let down. I was so mad during that review. I remember just going off. That was like a 45-minute review because we just shite on that whole film, dude. The entire thing.
It was
It
horrendous.
was abysmal. And then, you know, none of it made sense.
The writing.
None of it makes sense. So they go to this town that's abandoned, been abandoned for 20 plus years, but boy, oh boy, does the power just come right on, baby. We got shops going and everything. People are going to drive
I didn't
3 hours
understand
in the middle of
and
nowhere for a cupcake shop.
They're buying the town.
Yeah, they're buying the town.
Who does that? Who goes in with a bunch of friends and buys a town?
I don't know.
Not only that, but they didn't go through and like
how much would a town cost?
Nothing, according to these.
Yeah, apparently to these people, nothing.
But that was another thing. It's like you're supposed to hate those people so bad because they're buying that town. Like the town was so shitty, anyways. I don't even know why anyone would want to buy it.
No.
And not even that, but this guy has been laying dormant for 60 years, and he pops up like if nothing comes to life. He was sitting in that chair forever.
He
I guess,
really was
ridiculous. I can't
So
remember most of
stupid.
it, but
that movie sucked.
all right.
And then obviously the worst film.
Go ahead.
Of 2022.
A film that I had zero expectation, and it was worse than my zero
Worse
expectations.
than zero expectations. It should have been the first film
A film
to get
that
a
we
negative.
could rewatch.
Yeah,
like for a live.
We could for fun. We definitely should because this could actually get a negative Rotten Tomato score, like -6. That's how bad this film was. Just made no sense whatsoever. And that is Firestarter. Oh my goodness, was this film like laughably, like not even good enough to be considered a B film? It just jumped from one thing to another, and there was no stakes,
stupid.
Dude.
Oh, it was so bad.
They need to stop remaking the same Stephen King books.
Why do we know?
Why don't you do that?
It'd be so good. It'd be so easy.
Pet Cemetery is one of my favorite Stephen King books of all time, but they cannot adapt it to film.
But the girl, she kills her mom, right?
Yeah.
Engulfs in flames. And then the dad is like,
it is what it is, you know?
I didn't even like her that much.
Yeah, honestly.
Give her up. She's killing cats. She's
a broken child.
She's murdering a ton of. It's just I honestly can't remember that much.
Well,
I just remember being even like right after I saw it, I feel like I couldn't remember that much about it.
No, and literally it's so crazy. It's like one scene they're like he's like getting chained up, and then the next scene she's like running through the forest, and then the next scene it's just like there's no continuity in the film at all.
It was choppy. It was
so choppy.
And it might as well have been the nail in the coffin for fucking Peacock, which is just hemorrhaging money. But that went straight to Peacock, remember?
It did, and it wasn't even worth watching there.
No, I couldn't believe it. That's just like it's such a simple story. And it's pretty long too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dude,
it was like an hour and 35, hour and 40.
The dude has almost 70 books, and they keep remaking the same 5 books over and over and over again.
Well, dude, the Drew Barrymore one back in the 80s was better.
Way better.
Way better.
Yeah. And it wasn't that great, but I mean, it was
still better than
Zac Efron sucked in it too.
Yeah. Which I like him in some of his
stuff. I don't
but,
either, yeah.
Yeah, but man, that film was just so bad. Yeah. So bad. But it is what it is. All right. Now that we talked about some of the bad films, Gash, should we get to your number one?
Yeah, why don't you go number one first?
I'll go number one first. Okay. I'm just going to start by saying...
I already know what it is.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to start by saying this. One of my biggest gripes about Hollywood these days is they're so scared to make a real, true comedy that you know toys the lines, that plays both sides, that isn't scared to take risks in the course of comedy to accidentally maybe offend someone. And I felt like there were a lot of risks taken in this film. I thought it was really funny. It was really good all the way around. And That Is Triangle of Sadness was my favorite film.
Yeah, and it didn't. It should have top 10. It was a struggle not to, but
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Very good, very funny, and I am in the camp that I believe absolutely you can still make very controversial films. They just have to be good, you know? They
But
can't
that's
be
what
It's all
this
about the
was.
it
writing.
can't be controversial
Yeah.
for the sake of being controversial, which
Yes.
is what we see a lot of the
Mhm.
time, and it just has to be good. You can have crazy controversial stuff if it's well written. I
Mhm.
promise you,
Yep.
man.
Always.
If it's well received and it's making money, it doesn't matter what it is.
Mhm.
It will be okay, I promise. But it was very funny, man. Very, very funny and poked fun at a group that, needs to be poked fun at more for sure. But
Yes.
just the ridiculousness of it all and how detached these rich people are from just reality.
Reality.
They're not living in the same reality the rest of us are living in.
No.
They think they're doing things for these people when they're making their lives miserable. They're making them jump in the ocean in the middle of the
And
workday.
that's what's so brilliant about this film and so funny is it literally shines light on, and I hate to admit this, but I actually know people on a much smaller scale than billionaires, but I know people who
These
are
guys
like
were
this,
mega, of course.
who are like, oh yeah, do this. Oh well, yeah, have a little bit of fun. And it's like, no, this is my
Stop being
job.
poor.
I have to do this
Yeah.
in order to
Yeah.
make a living. This is not something we should be doing. And yet they make everyone on the ship go down
Even
the
the
water
engineers, the
and
guys
have
running-
fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, you are making more work for us. You're making our life more
The
difficult.
thing is, these people can't say no.
No, they
You
can't.
can't say no to these people because
Yeah.
you say no, they
They don't tip
they
you.
sh-
They're bad.
they fire you.
Yeah.
The guy with the shirt off
Poor guy got fired, got sent
took
right
him off the boat.
And that
Thank
Weasley-
God, though, he would have died.
I know he would have. So good for him.
And it's so funny,
glad
man.
he did.
I mean, the movie really takes off to me in like the second act when they get on the island. It's
And I
just
feel like-
nonstop. Everything is hilarious.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like what was so awesome about this film is the 3 acts were all uniquely different, where it was like every single bit was hilarious.
Yeah.
Getting to like from act 1 to act 2, from act 2 to act 3, all of it was funny. And it was a very deep philosophical film as well about the abuse of power. And it's not just necessarily the ultra rich who can abuse power. It's people who are put in those positions.
It's everyone.
Who have
Yeah.
more,
Whenever you're in
capability.
power, yeah,
Yeah.
it's human nature. There's very
It
few
is.
people that, but it's only because it's that's how it's always been. You know, it
Mhm.
doesn't mean that's how it always needs to be, but that's how it's always been. So as soon as, and of course, you treat someone like shit long enough, once they get that taste of power, they're gonna end up treating you like shit as well.
Yes.
And then you can't react like they're the bad guys for treating you like that when they're just doing what everyone does. But it was great. It was a great turn of the tables of
And I can honestly say
great
the
acting.
reason why I hit number 1 is I can genuinely say this in a film I have never laughed as long and
Yeah.
as hard as during that boat scene.
Woody
I
Harrelson's
just-
so good in that too.
So funny.
But yeah, that storm scene is
That's just
great.
that was my humor right up my alley.
Oh yeah.
Just 100% right up my alley with the political debates, the chaos going down, people falling
As the
downstairs.
ship is
as
sinking,
it's
they're-
sinking. And my favorite part of the film is the old guy. He goes, the ship.
I think he goes
I can't
right
even
back.
repeat
He's like,
it.
I should not have
I
said the
should
ship. And Woody Harrelson just sitting there, letting him do whatever he wants.
You
It's so-
okay? You okay?
I have to. I'm not
That's the
joking.
guy
I
on
could,
the
wa-
speaker.
I could watch this film like time and time again. It's just the funniest.
You have
movie.
to watch. I brought it up last time, but you have to watch The Death of Stalin.
The Death of
because
Stalin,
the comedy
yeah.
is very
It's
similar.
probably
and
my comedy.
It was one of my favorite comedic
Yeah.
films of like 2018 or whatever it came out. It was so good.
The only film I can think that I laughed just about as hard at, if not the same, is What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh God,
That
yeah.
film was so funny, and that's talking about TV.
You gotta
as
watch the
well.
show.
Yeah, I've heard the show's really good too.
Me and my girlfriend we're completely caught up. We burned through it. It is so
Is
funny.
it just as good?
It's exactly. Yeah. It's all right. My number one, we already talked about it a
We
little
did.
bit, but my favorite film, I mean, it could be one of my favorite films of the last 5 years, probably. It's Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, directed by the Daniels, starring Michelle Yeoh, Stephen Ki Hu Kwan. I loved it, man. It was just so good.
And Jamie Lee Curtis out there.
Oh, okay. How dare I?
That's my gal.
Best villain of the
And Jamie Lee
year.
Curtis, who's
Still looking for a dinner date,
Oh,
lunch
yeah.
date.
yeah,
Something.
shout out. She's
Shout out to
she's
you,
watching.
Jamie Lee.
She watches every
I
night.
love
She's
you so
ghosting
much.
you, my guy.
She is ghosting me. It's sad. I've DM'd you only 673
Yeah.
times.
One
But I
more-
loved it,
blocked
man.
One more couldn't hurt.
I've only made 20 accounts.
this film, it definitely brought a tear to my eye, which is not an easy thing to do, but it touches on so many themes.
Yeah.
And for a film to touch on so many themes and still be a congruent story, it just
And how many
amazes me.
risks it took
And for
too.
how cheap it was made and how great it looked, and just the acting of Ki Kwan, of a guy that hasn't acted in 20 years. 2022 was the comeback year for a lot of people.
For him, for Frasier.
Well, Michelle Yeoh coming
Michelle
out with
Yeoh.
being nominated for her first Oscar. She should win it. It's just the movie was so good. There's a scene in this movie where they're just rocks with googly eyes, and it's the most heartbreaking scene I've ever seen. I was crying. I'm like, am I crying at rocks right now? What the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
But for the directors, for Daniels to be able to do that, man, and be able to do it in that situation, it's up my alley for comedy, where it's so slapstick, it's so silly. The Ratatouille scene cracked.
The wiener
Awesome.
fingers.
The butt plug scene was hilarious.
The
Hot
wiener
dog
fingers,
finger in a world of hot dogs, you learn to eat with your feet.
So and here's the
It's
thing
so
that
beautiful,
makes
so poetic.
yeah. But that's the thing that makes this film so unique too, because like had I had taken one scene out of that, some wonky scene like the wiener scene,
It wouldn't
right?
have worked.
And I show someone that without seeing the movie, you're like, is this like
What
a
is
terrible
this?
B film?
Yeah.
What is this? But then
exactly.
you give them the full context of the film and all the meanings behind it. And it really does add all that value to it. And people are
Yeah.
like, wow, blown away by it,
Yeah, exactly. It's absurdist, but it deals with, it's just the wackiest thing you could possibly imagine, but it deals with the most real things that everyone deals with: the relationship between a mother and a child, a mother and her father, and just the pressure that comes
And
with
the
that.
pressure of like business owning, finances,
being with and
keeping
being
a
in
family
growing up
together.
in an
Everyday
Asian
things.
household where everything is obviously more pressure, even
Yeah.
to succeed and to be financially okay. It's just, it dealt with a lot, but all the performances were amazing, and I got to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
But I loved it, man. I talked about it. I'm sure no one's
I
surprised.
think I've
that,
seen it like 4 times.
Yeah, I am not surprised.
I
It
don't
was
think
your
anyone's
number
surprised
one.
that watches the show, because I bring it up a lot, and I talked about it very early on that it will make my number one, which is crazy because it's like the biggest indie film, one of the biggest indie films ever. It was in the
A24
theater
too.
for so long. Yeah, I
Let's
know.
go A24. We hope you win Best Picture for it.
A
That'd be
budget of
incredible.
$14 million made $107 million at the box office,
crazy.
almost at 10 times.
And it deserved to
return.
make more.
Just
It
give me
really
more
did.
of that. That's all I
Yeah.
want. Give me.
And a
Well,
very-
that's what A24 does.
$14 million
consistently.
Well, it was still,
films.
it was a limited run as well. It wasn't out everywhere.
Yeah.
To make $170 million or $107 in a very limited run. Oh, I couldn't believe it. It's very good for indie films, and very good for A24, who had a great year.
Yes.
Very good year.
So, do you want to go through some quick? We don't have to talk about the films in depth, but maybe just run through a few honorable mentions real quick, because I feel like a lot of these at least deserve to be brought up. The first one I'm going to bring up is for the Indian fan base here. It's RRR.
It was on my. It was.
And
close.
I told you it was going to be my top 10.
You
but
did.
There's
You lied
just
to me.
so many movies out this year that I just couldn't put it on it. But
it was so close
I
to making
really-
my top 10. It made a lot of people's top 10 this
did.
year.
yeah, and I
It's
really enjoyed this one quite a bit. The action was fun.
Crazy over the top
Yes.
film that we
Which
got.
we still got to go see Pathan too.
I know, but we
got to
got.
see Pathan.
We gotta say that we were on the Indian train way before all these fucking
We
bandwagons
were.
after
Yep.
Triple R, man. We were on it.
100%. We were back all
It's
the
so
way
funny.
in
It's-
2020.
It's so funny to hear people talk about this film that have never seen an Indian film
Mhm.
and being like, "That's the craziest film." I'm like, guy, that's just a regular Indian film.
Have you heard a little universe cop called Sing 'em Baby? Let's
You think
go.
that shit's crazy? Let
Yeah.
me introduce you to a regular cop.
This guy, when he goes up to slap people, there's a tiger shot. Bam! He just
Not only
slaps
that, but there's a series of cops in
There
India
is.
that are breaking the law
Simba?
actively.
Simba's incredible. He's
I know.
absolutely incredible.
But
All
it's so
right?
funny people talk about this film being like, "What was that?" I'm like, well, it's just a Bollywood film.
It is. That's just
all.
what they do. Soryavachi too.
Yeah.
That was fun. We reviewed
Historical
that one.
films look like that. Cop films look like that. But a ton of fun. The music
Yes.
was great. Really, really good, and introducing a lot of people to Indian films, which is amazing.
Yeah,
in
it's
all
awesome.
realness.
Yeah, it's great. And there's I've noticed a bigger integration on like Netflix and stuff where people can go and watch
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of Indian
they
film
re-released
now.
Triple R again in
Mhm.
theaters too,
Yeah.
like all over
It was
everywhere.
a big deal.
Prey,
Prey, of
Hulu, I
course.
thought, had a great year for
For
reinventing some old
horror.
horror films.
Yeah. We had Prey and Hellraiser that
We talked
was
about
also
those.
on my list too.
Yeah.
Both of them were really, really good. And
Prey
dude,
was so good.
I'm
and
in the
I'll be
middle of both of them.
I'll be the first to admit it. When they showed the Prey and it was like straight to Hulu. Before I saw it, I was like, "Oh God, this is going to be so bad."
And then
It's going to be like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I know.
I'm like, "This is going to be so
But
bad."
I did love the concept of taking it back
Yeah.
to old, whatever the 1600s or whatever,
Yeah.
and having it against were they
Natives.
Cherokee?
No,
No,
it was
Navajo, wasn't it?
Oh, it was
Yeah,
Navajo, I
it
believe.
was something, yeah.
I believe it was Navajo, yeah. But I love that, man. That's how you kind of reinvent a series, is take it away from what everyone's used to.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then Hellraiser.
Comanche.
Oh, was it
Comanche
Comanche?
was-
Okay.
Of
Yep.
course, because they're the real
not real.
badasses. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. The effects, the Predator looked awesome. The
Mhm.
pre-Predator, whatever they're calling it, the proto-Predator, awesome. Looked fucking
The Predator.
amazing.
And the action was very believable too. I mean, the only
Which is-
gripe I would have on it is the guys were pretty dumb in that movie.
well, they were
Yeah, a
warriors.
little
They
bit.
were warriors.
They wanted
Yeah,
one
that's
thing,
true.
and
Yeah,
they didn't
it's the
mind
kill.
dying.
I will
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, different time period.
But there
I
was
suppose.
scenes where it's like, come on, let's even. But that's the only thing that took it away from me. But overall, man, such a good film, and I
Way
can't wait to
above
dive more
expectations.
and more into that.
And I hope they make another one.
But the best one since the original Predator,
Mhm.
since Arnold,
Yeah.
100%, and then Hellraiser.
awesome.
God
Awesome.
damn,
I'm not gonna be
Both
doing
those
her
films-
justice, but the lead who played
the new Hellraiser, the new
Yeah.
Pinhead.
Jamie
The
Clayton
priestess.
did a really good job as a
Yeah.
priestess. Yeah.
Both those films, after watching, I was like, "What the hell are you doing, Hulu? Why
Yeah.
are these films?
Not going to theaters.
These films who cost nothing to make,
I know. And they're really good remakes.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good.
in a world of shitty remakes.
Mhm.
That's Disney, man, and Disney has been fucking up.
Big time.
They've been making a lot of missteps.
Well, did you see Disney Plus? I guess they lost hundreds of thousands
No,
of subscribers.
yeah, well, they've never made money. They said that they weren't going to expect to make money until 2024.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they canceled they delayed a ton of Marvel shows because they're saying that it's oversaturated
Mhm.
with the Marvel films
Yeah.
or Marvel TV
And
shows.
they're delaying a lot.
So there's only 2 Marvel TV shows coming out next year.
and only I think 2 or 3 movies.
Yeah, it's
Probably.
100% true.
It's oversaturated.
They're
I mean,
crashing the market.
hello, literally, I just brought it up earlier. I fell asleep during Ant-Man. It's just like it's too formulaic, and I
It
just
is.
oh man, I can't do it anymore.
But yeah, Hellraiser and Prey, 2 great films. If you have Hulu, go and watch them. The Hellraiser, we watched the original Hellraiser not long before that, and we loved that one. And this one I thought was in a very good same vein as that one.
Yep.
Loved it, Mason. What's another one?
Jackass Forever. We'll just
Oh,
talk about it. We got to talk about the Jackass boys a little bit. We'll just graze over this one real quick. But Jackass Forever, great. I love seeing the guys all back again.
Sad.
Wish Bam would have been there, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But again,
a good
still fun.
send off too.
Yes, very much
It might have been one of the best ones because of
I
that.
agree.
And
Mhm.
knowing that they're all
Doing
outta
much better
here.
now.
Yeah, for sure. But still just as crazy as ever.
So another one, because I'm just going to scroll through these because I got a few. Flea was a documentary about I forget what. He was a refugee. He was a refugee that was fleeing from a war-torn country. I believe it was like Afghanistan or something. But it was just a really good animated documentary.
Well, that was last year, wasn't that? Because we had that on our list last year, I think.
Oh, yep. It was. It was last year. It was
I
2021.
saw Flea. We loved Flea.
Yeah, Flea was awesome. Whoops, my bad. Okay. Well, to hell with me. The Fablemans.
Yes.
Fablemans was one that was my honorable mention for sure. Men, A24.
Men was crazy.
Men was wild.
I had a stop motion film, Mad God, on my top.
Was that the Shutter one?
That was the
Yeah.
Shutter one.
Oh, I
Yeah.
wanted to see it.
It's fun.
Phil Tippett, who is a special effects
Mhm.
god in Hollywood. He did special effects for Star Wars. He was famously
the original T-Rex design for Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he
Oh.
famously was the one that was on Jurassic Park. He's like, well, I guess I'm the dinosaur now when they introduced CGI because he was going to do all the effects and it was going to be stop motion.
Yep.
And then once CGI came, he was like the last big film that he did. But he is in the industry and he's been working on Mad God for like 30 years.
Yeah.
All
Long
by
time.
himself.
Mhm.
And it's just long, crazy,
No
no dialogue
dialogue.
at all. like this descend through like
Is it a
layers
feature?
and layers of hell.
Yeah,
it's like 2
It's
hours.
like 2 hours long.
Wow.
It's
I've seen it
real-
multiple times at this
really
point.
cool, very, very bizarre, very dark, and it's just like it's all the whole story is told through like the actions.
I'm gonna
of
have to
what's
watch
going on.
that
It's so
for
good.
sure.
And
I'm
it's
gonna
like
have to
this like
watch that.
Dante's Inferno
Yeah,
kind of,
that's how I felt about it.
but just very strange, very strange.
Mhm.
I've seen it multiple times, and it's really good. It's one
Worth
that I
it.
can just kind of put it on the background and watch.
Mhm.
It's amazing. But I would definitely, it almost made my top 10, but then Mad God Event See on Shutter. It's worth it. And Shutter's amazing too if you don't have that.
For only $5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
Shutter. I do have Shutter.
The
Shutter's awesome.
Fablemans, I like the Fablemans a lot. I damn near loved it. There's just some things I wanted a little more out of it,
Mhm.
but I
loved it too. That was one that was very close to my top 10. We also have films like, since we're on the dark path, The Black Phone was good.
Oh,
I enjoyed
yeah.
that.
That
Figured
was a
I'd give
good
that a
one.
little shout out. But this one I know none of you guys saw, but I enjoyed it. It was a musical and it was a romance film, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome, and it was called Serrano. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. It's
I loved it.
what's his name in it? Dinklage.
Yes, Peter Dinklage. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god, I
Technically-
did not want to see that film. It looked like the most. It's a romance film.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I
did.
know you like most films more than I do.
We'll talk about
Uh,
Glass Onion.
I was going to bring that up. I was
Knives
just about to
Out.
bring it up. I loved Glass Onion. It could have made my top 10 as well. I thought it was really, really funny and a different style of mystery film than the first Glass Onion.
I wanted to bring this one up too because you probably forgot about this, but I know you and I both watched it. Do you remember a little film called Emergency? It was like the first film of the year that we watched. It was on Prime Video. It was about the college student, and they found the black students found a white girl that was in
We
high
did
school.
review that?
We did
Oh
review it,
yeah, that was
and they were like terrified because they found her and they didn't know what to do because they wanted to bring her to the
for
hospital.
some
but
reason
then-
when you say emergency, I always think of Ambulance, the Michael
Yeah,
Bay.
no, not that one. No,
That film,
but it was
see.
surprisingly
That's how
really
long
good.
2022
I
felt for
know.
me because
Yeah.
I thought we watched that in 2020,
No.
but that film was amazing.
That was
It was
really good.
hilarious,
And I was glad that I was able to find that because it deserved to be at least in honorable.
Yeah, that was so
mentions.
great. That was like a film that like we didn't have anything to watch that week.
Yep.
And we're like, let's just find something on. And then we saw that it was getting really, really good reviews on Amazon. And that one was really, really good. Kind of like almost like a horror-esque thriller where there were some horror things where you thought these guys were gonna get shot.
Mhm. Oh, 100%. Or, convicted wrongly of a crime.
And great, not heavy-handed in a theme where it's like this was so much scarier because the main guys were black
Mhm.
and because the girl was white.
Right. And
Like-
she was like 15.
But it did a
Went to a
really good
college
job
party.
of putting you in their shoes. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, we can't walk in their shoes,
Obviously not.
but it did a very good job
Yeah.
putting where it's like, holy shit. We're like, you and I, that whole time, you and I could have just went to the cops
Mhm.
and be like,
And be like, I found this girl unconscious. She's
Yeah.
going to die. She needs CPR. She needs medication, whatever. 'cause
they
she's
are
drank too much.
dragging this and just making it worse and worse on themselves.
they
But
really
it's-
were.
You couldn't
Really.
do anything, though.
No, you couldn't. Especially once it kind of started. And it was a really good screenplay, too, for that reason.
Yeah, really, really good, though. Those guys, the guys that are in it, RJ Kyler and Donald Elise Watkins, were really, really fucking good.
I want to talk about this one, too.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler film. It was on Netflix. We watched the trailer. We didn't really know until we actually watched the film, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. And that was,
Well, and it got great reviews as
yeah, I
well.
did. And that was a basketball film, Hustle. Hustle was really good.
Yep.
They had a 15-minute montage, training montage that was actually comical because it was so long. It was a
in
really
a
good
sports
film.
film, you
though.
have to.
You gotta
remember
have those.
Dongle.
Of course, or Rocky
Dongle had
or
a
anything.
30-minute montage.
Dongle, it was damn near the whole film. Dongle.
That
It's
film could have
still
been
running.
called montage.
Yeah, it could have been
was,
called a
yeah.
marathon
Yeah,
because
it
those
was.
girls were running a marathon every morning.
But yeah, Hustle was really good. Had actually a decent basketball / actors in it.
Yeah, it did.
As the main guy. But yeah, really good. And got Adam Sandler back on the round tables
It
again this
did,
year.
yeah.
He's been great. He's been doing some good films. Some
Yeah,
great acting
especially
stuff.
yeah. I love Uncut Gems.
That was a
So
one.
good, man. I know I still
know.
talk about it, but it's one of my favorite
Who
films
ca-
of all time.
He got snubbed.
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
That was the most irritating thing because if anyone deserved it, it was him for that role.
Yeah.
That film was so good.
Everyone wanted him too. That's what scares me about Brendan Fraser this
I
year. Is
know.
everyone wanted Adam Sandler for that role.
The fact that he didn't even get nominated, though.
Oh, he did get nominated. I thought. No, he was there.
Did he get nominated? I don't even think he got nominated. He should have won, but I don't think Adam got nominated for Uncut Gems.
Maybe not. Let's look that up. I thought he did.
I think he got nominated. I don't think he won. A little Googling.
Yeah, we're looking it up.
Yeah, let's see. That's his picture.
Yeah, see, nominated for nothing. This is Entertainment Weekly. Nominated for nothing. Adam Sandler gave his all in Uncut Gems, but it still wasn't enough. Despite a career best performance from Adam Sandler, the gem was apparently a little too uncut for the Academy.
maybe it was like a Golden Globe or something.
Yeah, he might have got nominated for other things, but I know for the Academy, he did not even get nominated, which is a travesty in its own
crime.
way. It really is.
It is. Yeah, he's been nominated for 3 Grammys, Primetime Emmy, Golden Globe, and Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah,
He probably was not going to do a film that good ever again.
It's honestly it's hard to top
For anyone,
that
of course.
film.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems was just awesome.
That was the film. Very
all
tense.
the way around.
All right.
One of the most tense films I've ever watched.
Yeah, a film that I haven't seen since we reviewed it because it gave me
can't.
such bad anxiety.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, oof.
Yeah, if you worry about money at all, don't fucking watch that film. Yeah, because it will stress you the fuck out. But yeah, that's it, Mason. That was a great year of 2022.
Yes, it was. Took us an hour and a half to get through 31 films, but we did it.
We did.
We did
Absolutely. 2023 is going to be a good year as well. We got a lot of films coming out
Yeah, we
that
do.
look very, very interesting that I can't wait for. But yeah, a pretty good year. It was tough, man. I don't remember struggling this much to make a top 10 list.
I don't remember either. It was one of the most difficult to make, but also so much fun doing it and just going through. And I actually had to take a lot of time to go through all the movies this year.
I know it came to the very end for me. I was swapping films out right until we started recording.
Yep.
But we got it. We're there. All right.
I think my favorite one this year was probably The Northman.
Yeah. Northman was really good.
Big
man.
surprise, Jimmy.
Yeah,
I
big
know.
surprise.
I know. I'm basic.
So, Cash, I have one lingering question,
Sure.
and I'm just going to ask you. In 2023, what is your most anticipated movie between Mad Max and Dune Part 2?
God, I thought you would ask me that.
Yes, of course.
Is
of course
Mad
I was
Max
gonna
coming out in 2023? Do we know that?
Well, this one says it is here. Top picks for you says 2023.
Is it supposed to be a sequel to Fury Road?
Initial
No, it's
release
a
is supposed to be
prequel. Oh,
June
okay.
23rd, 2023, according to this here.
It's the Furiosa film.
Yeah, Furiosa, The Wasteland.
Okay. Cool. June.
Yeah, see, this says 2024.
Yeah, I know. Some of them say 2024, but then some say in June. So
I
I
don't
know
think
what's
I
happening.
haven't
put
even
my
heard-
money on 24
Yeah, because I haven't even heard that they started.
production. Dune's already done filming.
But Dune, man, I can't. Dune has to be my most anticipated film. Of
Oh, well, now
2023.
skid into theaters May 24th, 2024 now.
Mm.
Okay, then Dune Part 2 is the answer.
Yep.
There we go.
That was easy.
Is
Easy
that
enough.
right off the top of your head? Is that your most anticipated?
Off the top of my head, yeah. I mean, Dune's great. I can't wait. Or Winnie the Pooh.
Blood,
Yeah.
Blood and Honey.
Blood and Honey.
Blood
baby.
and Honey. That's a good
I've
one.
heard it's on par with some of the worst films ever made, but in a good way.
But in a good way.
Well,
yeah,
folks, we have
100%.
big films coming out here soon enough, right?
Yeah, we do. We got a lot coming out. This
Well,
year.
Ant-Man, unfortunately, will not be coming out, and not
on
worth
this
it either.
podcast.
It was
yeah,
not.
it was not worth it. It
That was our first
pretty
misstep
bad.
of February. February, you have to have some bad films.
But that one was not.
February always has bad films.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, it'll happen.
But we got some things coming out for sure. I can't wait for 2023, another year. It's crazy how many films we did this year.
Oh, a lot. And we've got a lot to get to this year too, Cash. So very, very excited.
I
for
can't
it.
wait. Yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone out there.
Yeah.
We'll have another fun year.
Yeah, and
I
if
can't
you're
wait.
still watching, smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notifications. We drop videos here every single week. Thanks so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.